welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And I'm Marley Silverbrand.
Special guest back again.
Does it really make me special if I feel like I've been on like this podcast like more than
more
once.
often than anyone else?
Yeah, more often than
Yeah, well, there's one of those things where it's kind of like you were like very frequent, like on like back when we all lived in Sonora.
Yeah.
Then I moved, then you moved, and then so it's kind of like sort of kind of like a reunion, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Kind of Happy Days reunion.
I am special, but that's another story for another podcast.
My mom told me I was special too.
Yeah. You're a gifted young child.
Gifted in air quotes.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being gifted now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know what happened to my camera.
I was just going to say this real quick. Okay, on the last podcast we did, everything's always referring to like the previous one, but remember when I was like, oh yeah, dude, I'm probably about like halfway through that Final Fantasy game, you know what I mean? Like it's got like, I'm like on the end of this 2 out of 4. No, Final Fantasy 15, it turned out I had like 3 hours left and that was it.
Really short game?
Yeah, it was like, it's super, well, it's Final Fantasy-wise, it's super short. Regular game-wise, it's kind of long, by that standard.
Would you still recommend that game?
No, I would still highly recommend it, but yeah, it's one of those ones that, like, you could beat the story in, like, 20 hours.
Mm. Well,
Which,
I guess
That's kind of short.
I was going to say for yeah, it's short for, like, a Final Fantasy RPG, because you're mostly kind of, like, assuming 30 to 50 hours, give or take how much extra you do. Now, there is some side stuff that you could, end up putting probably some extra hours into, but nothing that was, totally worth going out of your way to do kind of thing. Like, oh, okay, I guess if you just needed some extra experience or something like that. But yeah, it was a little bit shorter. I was kind of surprised.
I guess the thing to keep in mind, all the games I was really looking forward to, I found out, like, I was looking forward to that Horizon Zero game, or whatever it's called, the one where it's like
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, where it's all post-apocalyptic, but with robots and all, like, like a hunter-gatherer kind of game. Like, that looks really cool to me. It doesn't come out until February. Last Guardian was jumping out at me, but then I heard the creature thing you're with is very hard to control, and it's kind of very irritating, and so, yeah.
Well, from what I hear, Last Guardian is, like, it's like the game isn't that bad, but like it's kind of like it got stuck in time. It had the Duke Nukem Forever like syndrome, where it's like in development for so many years, and the developers have just lost touch with like society and what games are nowadays, and like that, and that is like good camera control and gameplay that doesn't suck the life out of you. So
that's what I heard. Like, I heard
when
the
you
game
play games like that, you got to just imagine sometimes that you are playing a game that maybe is a handful, like last generation. And I think because that's kind of like how Duke Nukem Forever was. I know that the people that really like Duke Nukem, I heard a lot of good things about that. The people that just didn't seem to care a whole lot for Duke Nukem are like, oh, this game's fucking garbage, Or anybody who doesn't like understand a little bit older style, like you can't always expect everything to be super cutting edge.
Yeah, true.
I guess it's one of those things. I haven't played the game, but I mean, this day and age, I think you kind of got camera controls down a little better, and that's what I heard a big thing was just camera controls. And apparently, they said it's a cool thing and a bad thing at the same time. The big monster that's kind of going around with you, it has a lot of personality, and it kind of does whatever you want, and whatever it wants, and you have to kind of try and bring it over to you. But sometimes it's one of those things where it would just kind of wander off and not really pay attention to you, and not that you were doing anything wrong. It would just be the thing's just off and about, and it's just kind of hard to get its attention sometimes. So, and I can see like, well, we want you to put you in the real mood of it. Just like, that just sounds fucking frustrating. So I don't know. I'll play it eventually, maybe when it goes on a sale or something. And like Watch Dogs, I heard was just okay, and I heard Mob. I mean, they're probably all fun playable games. All the games I was
well,
really,
yeah, they
really
only
looking
got
forward
like
to.
7.5 out of 10, which really isn't a bad thing. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's weird. Like a movie can get a low rating and it could still be like, oh, well, probably I might just like it a bunch. But video games, it's like whenever they get anything under about an 8 score, people are like, oh, the game's fucking terrible. It's broken. You can't even play it. And it's like, a 7's doesn't mean a game's bad. You know what I mean? A broken game's like maybe like under 4 or 5 or something like that,
Yeah, well, I think that it's one of those things like a 7 isn't like, oh, it's a bad game. It's a game that I'm not going to rush out to get, that I'll probably get eventually, like on a sale or something.
Yeah, that's why numerical scores
really
are
into that.
irrelevant. that's why numerical scores are irrelevant in my book, just because it's like I hate it when people like when they look at the comments or when people read the comments or post comments and they say, "Oh, this game's a 7 and that means it must be shit." I'm like, "Well, did you actually read the review? Because in the review, the guy actually says that he has actually enjoyed it, but that's just the score he gave it because of the scale that a company like IGN or GameSpot actually has." So
I don't even take IGN seriously anymore. They're just kind of like, they seem like the CNN of video games and like geek culture.
Yeah,
stuff,
they're like the
I mean?
Republicans of like, I don't know what it is. Just to me, it just reminds me when I see IGN, it's like, nope, don't trust them. It's like those aren't real people making decisions. Those are like horribly like created android people that we can't trust.
Well, it's like I mean, I see things like, here's an IGN podcast. I'm like, I'm sure some of these people are pretty like educated, and well, they're always people like, they're always like, I saw like some video of it just to see what it was. I saw like they have a little bit of like an anime, like a video anime podcast. And they had a bunch of young hip looking people like in their like like early to like late 20s, and just like I'm sure they're all informed and all that, but just something about it like. I don't want to sound like too much like it's the system, man, but it almost seems a little too kind of like, why listen to like one of the most corporate like a super corporate podcast when you can probably get like, I don't know, like unfiltered like opinions from something that's not like bought off, like something, I don't know, like Rage Select or throw a rock, you'll hit a video game podcast that's not a corporate one.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of true too. I think that's the thing. It's when I see IGN, it's kind of the same thing with fucking what's the GameSpot one? Yeah, GameSpot
or Game Informer.
Yeah, Game Informer, GameSpot. It's like, Jesus Christ, I'm like that's an old one. But that's kind of the thing. It's like I just kind of go, why do I want to hear? I feel the day and age of kind of like, kind of prestigious, like I had to go to like reviewer school, and I got my 8-year degree to become this like kind of person. I think those days are kind of over. It's almost like nowadays it's like, no, I want to hear it from the, the real person. I want the communist review. I want it from the people. And that's where I think something like Amazon's always the best
people's
one, like,
review.
It's like, say like there was a video game I wanted to look
Howard
up.
Zinn
I would
review
rather
of
just
video
go to
games.
I'll go to Amazon and look on there because I feel like I'm going to get a much more geared in the right direction review. And if I don't like one guy's review, well, I got about 10 plus more I can go filter through to kind of get an idea. And it's funny because on there you can take a game that maybe a lot of people didn't care for a whole lot, but there'll be a ton of love from its fans on there. And then if you do get to something that happens to have everybody seems to not like it, well, there probably is a real good reason now why it's kind of hated.
Well, I think that something like Amazon, not to be Captain Opposition here, but something about Amazon is because like you can find something that's like you said. I mean, it's a pro and a con. It's kind of like you go on Amazon, you'll see like something that's genuinely like most cases it comes up in conversation. People are like, oh yeah, I fucking hate this. And then like you go on Amazon, like those guys are a bunch of fucking idiots. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is fucking amazing. Here's a 7-page review of why this is the greatest like Batman and Robin like special edition ever. And then but it's kind of like to someone who doesn't really know about like. I mean, that's a bad example, but somebody who doesn't really know what they're looking like. All right, half the people love this thing, the other half fucking hate it. So that's one of those things, I guess you almost got to do research other places, because out Amazon I could see like I seen like 5-star reviews on a Blu-ray for The Room. So it's like, Well,
the thing is that the reason, like to me, the reason I consider that my main source of like where I'll trust is just I feel like you're getting it from just a regular person. So the person who really likes The Room, like they probably got good reasons behind why they like it. And maybe they even say right at the beginning, like, I don't really know why I like this movie so much. It's just somehow, some way it clicks with me. But that's what I like about it. They're not going in there being kind of judgy and biased. I mean, you always have that guy that's like, I fucking hate this. It's like the worst movie ever. Did you see it? No, but I saw a trailer and it fucking sucked.
Yeah, have you seen The Room, Spencer?
No.
All right.
Wait, is it The Room or Room?
The Room with Tommy Wiseau.
Room is actually a really decent movie about about the child that gets trapped in a room
with Alison Brie, right?
Yeah,
I heard that's a good movie.
Brie Larson, not
yeah.
Alison. Alison Brie is
Kennedy?
yeah.
Whatever. One of these three girls on the talking TV boxes. I don't know. I get them mixed up. Yeah, but there's that.
Yeah, The Room is not good. So
it's one of those movies. It's worth watching. I'm not trying to be like the. I know people always like to make like. I know that like 95% of the internet's just kind of like, oh my god, it's so bad. Like they just like to talk down on everything. But the movie is really bad. But it's worth seeing because it's a guy who was like swinging for the fences. He was trying so fucking hard, and there's almost like Patton Oswalt said this best. There's almost this thing that's really beautiful about total. It's almost like the Ed Wood thing, kind of like total passion with no real knowledge or talent on how to do it.
Well, not to like go on the side of like on our side of like the filmmaker and like creator side. I think like when you start a project, you have all intentions of finishing it and like and having like all the passion behind it. And the thing is like that can be a negative is that you could be so passionate and you want to finish this so bad, but you don't really know. You can get trapped in that world and not actually like show it to anyone.
You get blinders,
and you get blinders. You're like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna win an Oscar for this, and you release it, and it's shit.
You get like
the same thing. The same thing happened to the guy that directed Troll 2. Like, if you haven't seen Best Worst Movie, like that's another like it's another example of like a filmmaker that is just.
Do I need to see Troll 1 first?
Well, the thing is about Troll 2 is that the first Troll. Like they just named it Troll 2 without there ever being a Troll movie. Like it came out in the UK at the time when it was like, oh, let's just name it Troll 2, just make it just so because sequels get a lot of money. And so
it used to be that way.
Yeah. So
are you still there, Spencer?
No, the sequels still do get a lot of money. The whole reason why is because generally, like when the first movie comes out, even if it's a really good movie, not everybody goes out and sees it. But after it's been out for 2 years and everybody kind of watches it and they tell their friends and they pass it along, then the sequel, even if the sequel's not even nearly as good of a movie, and even in the long run, if it doesn't get nearly as remembered, lots of times it makes way more money than the first one does just because of that. So I could see where that business plan for the Troll 2 was a great idea.
Well, when did Troll, I guess I'm thinking in the context of like 70s and back. Like when did Troll 2 come out? Wasn't that an 80s movie?
Yeah, it was roughly like, it was like early 80s, late 70s, I think.
I guess that would be the weird thing to me, because I mean, maybe VHSs were just starting to come out around that time, but it's one of those things because like that's like, you know, back in the 60s and like 70s and back, it seemed kind of like that's what made like Empire Strikes Back, which we'll come back to for that later. But Empire Strikes Back, that's what made that such a gamble, because like usually sequels had a diminishing return back in the day. It's like, I saw the first one, why do I gotta see this shit, you know, again? So that's why Empire Strikes Back, like, all right, we're kind of taking a big gamble here because it's a lot more expensive and we're doing a lot more shit. So if this one doesn't do good, we won't get the third one. And it kind of hinges on the third one.
Yeah.
Well, you can really say that's like the time period where sequels started to matter, is with Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, with The Godfather Part 2. Because I think that was beforehand, you know, sequels are made, but they were always kind of like B-movie knockoffs more than anything else. Like, oh, we got one guy from the Magnificent Seven to come back, you know, one of those kind of.
Yeah.
And not saying, you know, whether they're good or bad, but what happened is they finally started getting some sequels that were like, boom, look at Godfather Part 2. In fact, people actually like it more than the first one. And look at Empire Strikes Back. People like that one more than the first one. So it kind of spawned that, and that's why I think where the 80s gets to like the ultimate, like, you know, time period of like, fuck it, make a sequel to it too. Troll 2, hell yeah, where's Troll 1? Who cares?
There's probably a Troll movie out there. No one fucking saw it. Who gives a shit? But
we'll
2, that adds legitimacy to this shit.
The unseen rare movie of the 50s, you know, Troll 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys have a chance to see Best Worst Movie, that's probably like a fascinating documentary about like just the making of Troll 2 and just what these actors and like creators are going through. Mm-hmm. And then like when they found out it sucks, it's like they're like completely devastated. But the filmmaker is still like saying like, oh, people just don't get it. Like I was really making something like honestly truly great. Like and like speaking of another filmmaker that did that is like M. Night Shyamalan. Like if you listen or read interviews about him talking about Last Airbender, he's just sitting in interviews just like, yeah, I have this great vision for like for the cartoon and like and how I wanted it to be live action. And he's just sitting back. He's defending it. He's defending it like crazy. Despite what people may think about that, I take like I have a lot of honor in that. Like if you like just have like the film's back as like as a creator, I think that's really cool.
Like, I don't blame
him. That's definitely better than being the guy who's like, yeah, it was just garbage, whatever, we didn't care, we were just dicking off. Like I think that actually is better to go, no, I had this vision, yeah, I know, probably was my own vision, but I'm standing behind it.
I could see that because it's one of those things. I mean, I kind of see a little bit of both sides on that because the thing about look, I didn't really watch all of Last Airbender. What I saw of it was good. I mean, let me actually say the animated series. Let me clear it. The animated series. Like the 7 episodes I saw of the animated series was good. I don't really know enough about it to go off the whole series. So watching the movie, I was kind of it's whatever, it's okay, you know. And but apparently it just takes a hefty like steaming shit right on it from what people tell me. And I've heard early interviews with him on that saying seeing his intention. He was trying to make something really cool. But the only thing is, I think you can have tunnel vision on that kind of thing because apparently what he tried to do is he tried to condense an entire first season into like a 2-hour movie, and every line was exposition, and everything kind of seems a little stilted. There was not a lot of humor in it for being what was a pretty humorous show, along with a lot that had also had a lot of heart in it at the same time. And the other thing about that though is M. Night Shyamalan, not to be a total dick, because he can make some good movies, but more than people want to give him credit for. But the one thing is that always stood out to me is like, really, dude, was when he did Lady in the Water, which is a very self-aware, like meta thing on storytelling, and
he makes himself he puts himself into the movie as a character who has really good writing.
Who's going to change the world.
And the world is going to be saved by his amazing writing. And I'm like...
Yeah. Then like...
I actually do like Lady in the Water, but that character is the one where I just roll my eyes at every single time. Like, I respect Lady in the Water for what it is, but that character is just...
Well, plus there's that weird part where the kid, like, who's the storyteller? Because everybody has, like, a weird, like, part, and, like each character is a representation of, like, of a story structure. There's the one kid like, well, who's a storyteller? Like, the kid. How's the kid do it? He reads the back of cereal boxes. Wait, what the fuck? I don't know. It's just there's some shit like that. There's some key things about it that were cool, but it's like that kind of shit. So I think you kind of like
the cereal boxes were written by the writer of this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's almost like that thing where like a guy gets too art. Well, sometimes I feel like really artsy directors, they always want to pick them for like properties, but I think those are sometimes actually the worst choices for property, you know, things like Last Airbender. And the reason why probably is the fact is that an artsy director is not going to just make something the way that it should be made. They feel like they always got to put their own spin on it. And I think that's kind of the downfall. And you pick these artsy directors to take these properties, and the next thing you know, it becomes something else.
Well, he even said,
whether that's good or bad.
He even said in an interview, because in the movie, it's pronounced, like I said, I wasn't a diehard fan of the show, so it didn't bother me, but I could see how it pissed off other people. Like, in the show, the character's name is Aang. In the movie, they were pronouncing Ung. He says, like, why the fuck were you pronouncing it Ung? Well, in my language, that's how we would pronounce it. Like, but the show, which has, I think, 4 or 5 seasons worth and a large fan base, everybody was calling him Aang the whole way through. So, not trying to, beat like the fucking dead horse on this fucking movie, but it's just like...
That's literally when somebody calls Mario, and it's like, no, you fucking retard. Like, how...
Everyone
he says his goddamn name at the beginning of every video game. How can you not get that correct?
Well, I call him, man. I've known a Mario down the street for like 40 years, man. Come the fuck on.
It's like, that's fine. That guy's name probably is Mario, but Mario is how you pronounce Super Mario's name. It's that stuff like that. That's the only time is I feel like there's certain names like here's an example of like something that doesn't actually bother me is
Rage and Raj.
Yeah, Raish and Roz. And the way that I define that is that Raish is how you say it when you come from, where he comes from. And if you're from Gotham City, you call it Roz because you're fucking like in Brooklyn. Fucking Ra's al Ghul showing up here, huh?
Coming to my fucking city, poisoning my streets with the scary gas. Fuck him.
Yeah,
no,
that's where
if Peanut Black is listening to us right now, like these motherfuckers cannot do New Yorker accents. Yo. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah. Blanked out there for a minute.
Oh, did it for you? It didn't blank on my end, but
Yeah.
it's one of those ones where, certain names though. It's generally, and the thing with that one too with Batman, other than like the animated series, nobody pronounced. It was always in a comic book, so I feel that's up to interpretation. Then at that point, if you get it wrong, well, that's different. Let's say if Last Airbender or Avatar was only a comic book first, and then he pronounced it like that, I feel like that'd be okay. You know what I mean? But since it was in a TV show where people were clearly saying it over and over, then it's kind of like, dude, take your artsiness and throw it down the trash when you're going to make somebody else's stuff, because this, at the end of the day, it's not your movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then but go back. I'm gonna put the pin in the Rod's race thing real quick. But I just want to say real quick, because I got corrected. Your boy actually one time.
What?
I say that jokingly.
What?
He was on an episode. I don't want to say his name on the air, but he was on an earlier episode of your podcast.
Oh yeah.
We kind of got into it for a minute, but he said, like, I said Raz Al Ghul. He said it's Rage, and he would cover me on that. He would check me on that, and I'm like, fucking Denny O'Neil, the creator of the character, called him both Raz and Rage on a fucking podcast. Fuck anyone who says that otherwise. I'm gonna say it right now.
Exactly. That's the other thing too. At the end of the day, the creator is the person who gets to make that decision too. So, but
yeah,
no need to always get into so many trivial things. Let's go into something that's super fun and pretty darn amazing. You guys see that new Star Wars movie that came out?
I saw it. Yeah, Marley, you literally just got back from it.
I literally just got back from it about 30 minutes ago. So, but to piggyback a little bit on the whole
spoilers ahead.
Spoilers ahead. But to piggyback a little bit on how artists should just kind of leave a franchise alone. I think Gareth Edwards, who directed this new Star Wars movie Rogue One, he really brought his own feel to it and theme, because his themes for his previous movies have always been the scale, a really large scale, and just the feeling of just kind of everything being threatened. And
what's some of his earlier movies?
Godzilla and Monsters, which is an independent movie.
We don't talk about Godzilla, but I could see where he was going with Godzilla.
You don't like Godzilla, the last one that came out in America?
I never saw it.
It was all right, but I could see where he was coming from with making Godzilla this I don't know. The only problem that I had with Godzilla is Aaron Tyler Johnson, whatever his name is, the guy that was
Kick-Ass.
Yeah, the guy that was Kick-Ass. Is that his name? I don't know.
Yeah, his name's Kick-Ass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I thought
that's what he goes by.
I thought his character in Godzilla was just absolutely dreadful.
The only downfall of that movie is they focused a little bit much on the melodrama. I will say that does kind of eat up a lot of the film, and you're kind of just sitting there going, yeah, whatever. But when action happens in that movie, the action is full on fucking amazing. I cannot see how somebody would not like the action in that Godzilla movie. It is so good. The downfall is then you got to put it up with over an hour of oh, family, oh, life, oh, it's we're here to see Godzilla. Nobody gives a flying.
I heard it's not even all that well written, the melodrama. I don't mind melodrama in some movies because it can be necessary for
yeah, but not really a Godzilla movie. A Godzilla movie, it's kind of no, just explain to us how this happened. Use people just to be things to step on.
Yeah. This is actually going to be a little off topic just for a second, but kind of in that realm of Godzilla and kaiju stuff. There is a comic book store I go to here called Comics Experience, and it's comics spelled with an X, and they have this graphic novel club thing. I've talked about it before. It's the thing where they had a video Q&A with Neil Gaiman. And or Neil Gaiman, and I one time went to one where it's kind of like a book club thing. We'll get a book, we all talk about it, and then they bring in the writer of the book, and that's how I got to meet Paul Dini, which is pretty awesome. And I got to ask Neil Gaiman a question and embarrass myself. They had one called Kaiju Max, written by a guy named Xander Cannon, and it's basically just kind of a dramatic satire on kaiju stuff, and it's pretty good. It's basically about all these different kaijus or different representations of different monsters throughout the genre on this island, which is basically a prison. and the prison guards are basically Ultramen and Gundams. And a bunch of references here and there. It's like a prison drama. It's kind of funny, but it's also very dark and very dramatic at the same time. Anyway, he was talking because people were asking a bunch of questions about what he thought of kaijus because he says because he's clearly a big fan of kaiju stuff. And he said, like, you know what? People want to talk about the whole, like, I liked the new Godzilla, but people want to talk about how, like, you know, there's all this human drama and how it gets in the way. And then someone else will say, yeah, that happens in, like, the first couple. But usually, after a while, they stopped doing that. After a while, it just became a wrestling match. It was almost more of, like, a big fight, like Godzilla versus Mothra. Hydra versus Godzilla. That's how they would advertise it, almost like you're going to see this big wrestling match, and everything else was secondary. And I wish they'd have more of that. I know a lot of people don't like that, but that's what I want. So I think the thing is, like that. This is going back to like 6 months ago.
In the Japanese Godzilla movies, there always was a lot of like talking in it too. Because I just remember as being a kid too, it's like, why are they fucking talking all the time? Let's just get like back to Godzilla fighting. We don't care. And as long as you get the versions that aren't dubbed and you get them subtitled, then the talking parts actually aren't bad at all. Like the older I got when I came back, I'm like, oh no, the talking parts aren't bad and not there. I think it was just when I was a kid, I was watching a bunch of dubbed ones, so they always felt like, you know, you just have whatever.
Listen here, say, Godzilla's coming in.
Like, yeah, Godzilla's coming in, see? You know, and it's just.
I remember the Rat Pack is on the fucking, you know, like dubbed.
Yeah, it was literally all the Rat Pack actors that weren't they're like the C-list actors back in the day, and now they still needed jobs. So what they just did was do all the dubbing for like every Asian movie known to mankind from the 70s on up. So it's like once you get the movie in Japanese with subtitles, it's like, oh, then everything works out well. It's like it's magically everything's fixed.
Well, regarding what you said regarding the Star Wars for a second, because we got there because we were talking about scale.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars, I think that actually doesn't impede or trample on the originals, because everything about scale, I mean, Star Wars is a very big universe, and I think only now they recently kind of just started focusing in on like just the size of it, rather than just not just like, I mean, you know, because you'd see the Death Star before and it looked big, but this one had a lot more of kind of like glory shots of it, as well as other things. And I think that kind of works for the movie, you know, because it is about trying to like stop the Death Star and how everyone feels so small in comparison to everything else going on around
I think
them.
that definitely works, especially where this film actually takes place between episodes 3 and 4, I believe. Am I correct on that?
Yeah,
it's literally right before 4. It's probably like in
5
general,
minutes before 4.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, that or like maybe it starts off like 1 week before 4, give or take on what's going on.
And I know how unsettling people probably were a little bit like going into this, because it is a prequel and how people hate the prequel so much. But this is like, in my opinion,
you had to fucking go there, didn't you?
Like,
in
my opinion,
Star Wars Episode 3 is one of the best Star Wars
movies. He's gonna go off now. Just all right, let it happen.
In my opinion, this is really how prequels should be filmed and like work. Just because, like, going into this movie, you really spoiler alert, you know that everyone's gonna die. And the story of these characters, but basically like risking their lives to save the rebellion, or at least
give him just give him a foot up in the race.
Yeah, to give him a foot up in the race by giving him the plans for the Death Star and saying like, hey, this is the one weak point in this giant planet that destroys other planets. And I don't know. I just think seeing their story was like completely fascinating, because like especially in the final like action sequence, I was like I was completely on the edge of my seat, like, oh shit, are they not going to do this? And then I started thinking, oh yeah, episode 4 exists, so they actually did do it.
Well, the thing that had me about it, is I wasn't sure if everybody was going to die, because it's Disney, and Disney is a marketing machine, and I can see them saying, most people are going to die, but let's keep the possibility of this character or that character alive for other spinoffs. Where this one, so that was the thing I was kind of, it was more just the way Disney operates as a marketing machine was almost my thing is, will everybody die? I know a lot of them will die, but will everybody die? And the movie's like, yep, every character.
That's what I liked about it. They made it like a full-on, it was a war movie, but they didn't hold back like I thought they might have, because that was the same thing I thought too. It's like, God, once Disney kind of gets a hold of it. Because here's the thing, Star Wars Episode 7, like I enjoy that movie, but you can see almost like the Disney grip on that movie in how it kind of is different from the rest of the Star Wars films. I mean, it's still a Star Wars movie, but I totally understand why there's a handful of people that just didn't care for it a whole lot, and their reasoning behind it, and how some of it isn't kind of really that defendable. You know, I'm just grateful for having more Star Wars. Yeah, that's the thing, though. Is that last movie was super, super safe. I mean, it was like Super Mario Run safe. You know what I mean? Like, let's not make this. Let's make this.
Reference I don't get at all.
Have you played Super Mario Run yet?
No, I have an Android, so I can't play it until next year.
Oh, okay. Well, pretty much all Super Mario Run is, it's just like, it's a Mario game where Mario runs, and all you do is you press the jump button. That's it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get it.
Well, it's free, so it's like I got it anyways. I mean, it's fucking.
I heard it cost some money.
I hear there's a demo out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, the full game's free.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
I think it's got shit you can buy in it, but the game's free.
Okay.
But it is one of those ones, like, you play that, and it just reminds me of like that kind of thing where it's just like, you remember Mario in 1985, how that was really fucking difficult, and you stopped playing video games ever since then? Well, come on back. We gotta wait for you to play this. But the weird thing about a Mario game is, when you're used to controlling Mario, like, the way that Mario jumps is all based on how much running you've done, or how less running, or how much you kind of turn backwards. Where when he's just running straight ahead and you jump, it's like all like your kind of like muscle memory of Mario's jump patterns is completely different now, because you got to get used to this whole brand new style of him running. But what I'm just saying is that's like playing it super safe. That's making a game that super accessible in the way that Star Wars Episode 7 was. 7 was like, okay, remember 1977? How much you love that? Let's go back then.
Plus, it's touchscreen controls, and those are never really the most reliable controls ever.
Well, for that game, it's like, that's the reason why I think it's made like that, is because, you know, it's just one button. Because that was the main thing that made any game where you had to have a run button was pretty much impossible on a phone. See, that's why Sonic the Hedgehog actually works really well on a phone, is because all you need is a D-pad and a jump button. You don't need a run button. And that's why it works well. But for Mario, I feel like they couldn't have had a run button, so you have to have him automatically running.
Well, going back, because, yeah, that does sound like they were just trying to make it for people who never picked up Mario since 85. But regarding, I'll say that at least, I mean, don't get me wrong, I really liked Force Awakens. My only major problem is we're starting off on another desert planet. That's my only major problem with it. Beyond that, I kind of understand what they're trying to do. And it was just kind of, you know, I mean, I kind of get where people say it is a greatest hits, because it totally is a greatest hits movie. But regardless of that,
or it's a New Hope.
I wouldn't even say it's greatest hits, because it is literally like 1977 kind of greatest hits.
Well, I mean, it goes by the same story beats.
It would have stuff from 1, 2, and 3, and since it doesn't have stuff from 1, 2, and 3, it's not technically a greatest hits.
I mean, I'll say it goes by the story beats, but I mean, Han Solo, we see character, like, you know, the fact that, I mean, to me, the very end of it, the very last act, was trying to throw in a little bit of Empire and Return of the Jedi. I mean, not just because it was snow, but just kind of the dark, the mood, the twist at the end. Kind of like,
color
I'm
scheme.
not your father. Yeah, the color scheme, like, I'm not your father, I'm your fucking son, you know. And I really kind of found that earlier on. And I actually kind of think that the movie had a little bit of balls. I mean, even though I was enjoying the movie, I thought it kind of got a little bit of balls at the end, because they killed off Han Solo, which a lot of people were like, well, someone had to die.
Dude,
like,
spoilers, dude.
Don't even fucking. Someone told me about that like a week after the movie came out, when I made like a Simpsons.
It's been 2 years.
I know. I made like a Simpsons. I made a Simpsons. Oh, 1 year actually. A Simpsons drawing of like Bart is Kylo Ren, and then like stabbing Homer is Han Solo. He's showing him like, you little, and, you know, and then like someone's like, spoilers, dude. Just like, I mean, you wouldn't. Well, it's like you wouldn't. I think if you didn't even see the movie, you just saw that, like, oh, I get it, Simpsons, Star Wars, and then like later, like, oh, okay, but whatever.
Plus, it's like, yeah, well, don't be such a cheap bastard. Go out and go see the movie.
like a normal, like a good American, you know.
Yeah.
You're not
If you don't
American
want-
if you don't see Star Wars. God damn it!
Star Wars is an American national. Star Wars is an American treasure. It's one of the good things we actually say. Yeah, we did that. Fuck yeah. Among other things. But
Yeah. But
You
no,
look at
I
me
thought
very
with Rogue
sternly.
One
You
though,
see that? You look at me very sternly. Like, did you just say that?
Yeah, and also all the Asian Americans that worked on the CGI effects in Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah, but it was written by a goddamn American, put out by a goddamn American company. Just set that flag right in the fucking ground.
anyways, that's the American way. That's how we've been making cartoons for fucking years. What, you think the fucking Scooby Doo is drawn by an American? No, goddamn it. We were like, this is Shaggy, this is Scooby. Now you make him do all these funny poses, and we'll put it together. Slap our name on the title.
Welcome to Trump's America.
Yeah. Oh,
Trump's America. This is probably before Trump was even like, we're doing anything. So it's been
when
going
he
on
was-
for a long time.
This is when he was being fed with a silver spoon.
Make America,
and fucking
make America great again.
don't.
By his 100 nannies that he would eat.
Mhm.
But
No setting on Trump. I must feast.
But yeah, going back to Rogue One.
Going back to
I think
Rogue-
Rogue One is probably one of the I would have to put up there like my top 5 favorite Star Wars movies, just because what I love about Rogue One is that it has a bunch of characters and actors that you haven't really seen before, except for Mads Mikkelsen, who is a complete badass. But like it's characters that like I think this actually helps since they all die, that you haven't really like seen their face. So like you get for like the 2 hours and 9 minutes that you're watching the movie, you're starting to like these characters. But if they die, like you're sad, but it's not like years and years of like watching them and like you see what I'm saying? Or
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It was one of those things. It was an initial shock going back to this for a second when I saw Han Solo, because it was like, I don't know, one of your childhood heroes just got murdered on screen. I never thought I'd see that, And then watching this movie, though, it was one of those things like you knew anybody can go, but you really didn't want them to, but you're also kind of prepared for it,
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what made this one kind of neat is it was like a war film. It was done the exact same way that something even like, what was that Mel Gibson one that just came out? Goddamn it.
Something Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge. It's done in like that style where it's like these people all know that they're probably gonna die and shit's gonna go down. And I like that they actually go all the way through of it. They don't keep any of these guys alive. They make the stakes real. That, man, a lot of people, tons of people had to die just to fucking get these plans. It really makes that feel really like a big deal. It wasn't just like, yeah, we just snuck in and got out. We lost our robot companion, but whatever. We can always buy a new one. It wasn't one of those movies. It was like, no, everybody fucking had to go down. And everybody, you cared for them, you know what I mean? But once again, it wasn't like you were losing like a fucking legend, But at the same time, you still all cared for these characters. And when each one died, you felt kind of like, oh, fucking, that's a bummer right there. The other thing I really like about it, too, is what this movie kind of captured. The aspect that I really liked about it is it captured the Rogue Squadron feel. Because I was wondering, I'm like, are they going to have like just a bunch of like, X-Wings flying around and Y-Wings and all this stuff? And it's like, oh, yes. Yes, they did. Because that's something that, that's probably why I like Return of the Jedi so much, is because it's got a lot of that in there. But for the most part, the space battles have always been kind of quick and few and far between. So to actually get, even though I guess it's not full on in space, it's space and ground warfare, but they get the full on ships flying around, blasting each other for like, a good half an hour plus long action scene, also with ground battles and all that kind of stuff. That's totally badass, because that's the two aspects I love the most about Star Wars is pretty much anything that has to do with flying and lightsabers. In this movie, since it focused all on the kind of like that sort of Shadows of the Empire style, that was totally cool. I like that a lot.
It's like some of the shots, like especially that final action sequence, are shots that you've never really seen before, like with X-Wings and Y-Wings. Like I really want to see this film like on the biggest screen possible, like on IMAX. I'm not even sure. I think it's being shown on IMAX, but just like there's like one shot where like the camera's on the back of like a Y-Wing, and it's I don't know, it's just it's hard to describe, but it's just,
I don't know what shot you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just absolutely stunning, especially just the way it was shot.
Well, it's also, there's that whole thing at the end of the movie. I mean, even though I know the plans get to them, I'm well aware of that. like the big thing was like, is this character or that character gonna make it out? No, no one makes it out. Then on top of that, after they're all dead, it's kind of like it is kind of one of those things like I knew they were gonna get by okay, but there is that initial oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. After they died, how close Vader still got to getting those plans. Like when they just get the plans last minute, and then they have like, all right, here's that shit you've all been waiting for. You're only gonna get it for like a minute, but you'll be grateful for every second of that minute. When Vader is on that one Rebel blockade runner, and because we saw the prequels where everyone's doing backflips and all that kind of stuff, and that's cool. But it was kind of cool seeing Vader just walking, just deflecting left and right, lifting the one guy up to the ceiling, cutting him in half as he walks by, just still killing guys with one hand.
And then having all those guys just know that no matter what, they all know that there's nothing they can possibly do. They are stuck against the wall. Darth Vader is coming at them, fucking pissed off as can be. You're just going to die. You have nowhere else to go. I think that scene right there was such a badass scene. And that's almost like what they sort of need. It's like, that was like perfectly put in there just to kind of place and how fucking drastic these plans are.
Mm-hmm. Well, besides like the Vader scenes, I feel like any other scene that featured like old characters, where if I had one weakness to say about this movie, the one thing I didn't like is like
I don't like you either.
The inclusion of like all the old characters like C-3PO and R2-D2 for random reasons.
Why? What's wrong? You got a fucking problem with C-3PO and R2-D2?
I have a problem with the robot. Okay.
See, what I liked about that one is all the little cameos like that. They didn't really feel like they were super like out of place, like they were shoehorning something in. I mean, you could say, yeah, they are a little bit, but for the most part, I felt they were all nicely placed because this is where all these characters probably would have been at the moment. You know what I mean?
No,
like
I don't think they're totally shoehorned in, but like especially like the last 30 seconds where they bring the Death Star plans to
Princess Leia?
Princess Leia, and all you had if it was me, all you had to do is just show her back. But the camera had to rotate around and show Princess Leia. Like we all know
that's fucking awesome. Cool, though.
But if you just show her back, we all know like who that is. Like it just felt like it was being way too obvious.
When I saw
20 years ago, not even 25 years ago, you would have only showed her back. But now since they have the technology to make that real good CG, like why not? That's fucking awesome.
She looked really good. Grand Moff Tarkin looked like a Pixar character. I can understand why
I'm not complaining.
I understand it. Like it's one of those things. Like, if you just had him in passing, it probably look fine. But since you're holding on him, you just kind of notice it. I think it's more because he's dead. That's more the bigger thing. But I think it's more. I understand why that one dude was pissed off. He's like, motherfucker, this Pixar character comes in here, he's stealing my fucking job. I kind of get why that guy's pissed off.
It's also a little bit disturbing that they included like these old characters besides Vader, because Vader gets a pass because this is not technically
all you need is the
movie.
helmet and the voice.
Yeah, but like this is technically like the new characters like movie, but to include like all these like past characters that that you see their faces, that you've seen their faces like in plenty of other movies, just to see them like in this brand new fresh Star Wars movie, it was a little bit disappointing. But
I don't know what that's disappointing.
I liked all that stuff. I don't know why you'd be complaining about having more. Like that just seemed like it all worked out because I loved how it, like when they gave it to Princess Leia, it's like, oh fuck, that is literally the movie ends literally as Episode 4 starts. I think that's awesome how it's just like perfectly backed right up against there. And as you know,
but we already knew that it's going to end right when Episode 4 starts. So why do we need extra scenes?
A movie shows it all.
Yeah, but I think that's just cool that it does. Well, you don't know it's exactly going to be like literally like a second off from when it starts. You could see it being like maybe a day off or something like that. I knew it was going to get close, but the fact that it gets like right up, I think that's cool. And here's the thing. Maybe we don't all know because there is people that no matter what, haven't seen 4, 5, and 6 yet. So this would be kind of a cool movie to see and then go into 4 right afterwards, not knowing any of this stuff, how it goes on.
and then on top of that, like I mean, every so often I kind of understand like because South Park is really ripping on the whole member with the whole member berries thing, and I
Mhm.
understand that, but I think there is I understand that, but I think there is kind of like still that middle ground where you can make a fun reference because I wasn't really expecting because I'll say this like all right, bear with me, Spencer, because I mean keep in mind I like episode 1 and I like episode 3. Episode 2 I'm just okay with,
Mhm.
but
I love
I
all
will
three.
say
Same.
I know, but I think that they shoehorn C3PO in there into Phantom Menace because it seems almost like I think I don't remember where I heard it, but it almost seems like for being like a galaxy, it seems more like a cul-de-sac because all these people just keep bumping into each other. It's very rarely like anybody other than like this main group. So and I think maybe in Double Toast possibly said
See, the thing is, though, that's just a movie thing, though. Like, I
the
mean,
R two
I know.
the R2D2 being made by Anakin, like that's not a huge thing.
You
It's
mean
not a thing that really
C-3PO?
bothers
Wait,
C3
C3PO?
yeah,
Yeah.
C3PO. That's not a huge thing. That doesn't really bother me that much. It does seem a little weird, but it's one of those things where that maybe not be the best way to do it. I think the better way, because it's a cameo, it doesn't really matter, is when they bump into the pig face guy and the walrus man on the desert planet. You know, they bump into those guys. Like, I don't like you either. Like when they bump into those guys for a split second, and that's all you need. You know what I mean? And that kind of like they play it like those guys look to start shit. Like they bump shoulders with them and like, yeah, let's fucking fight. And then like the dude is like, fuck them, let's go. We don't got time for this. Like, fuck, man. Knowing that's gonna get them killed one day.
Yeah, exactly. Because they just everywhere they go, they just start shifting everybody. See, I liked all that little stuff in there. I think what made me like Rogue One, like is once again Episode 7. I like that movie, but I do over time you kind of can see like, okay, yeah, I do wish it was a little bit more. I'm for the time period, it was the movie that I guess needed to be made. But as like the hardcore Star Wars fan, you're kind of like, well, this is kind of your once again, it's the Super Mario run. It's the safe version. It's let's not try to make a brand new thing. Let's just try to go down a similar path that everybody's comfortable with. You know what I mean? And I get that. And not once again, nostalgia. I love nostalgia. I've been a romanticist my entire life. I've always loved things that have always been in the past. And I know that some people like at the moment are kind of looking negatively upon that kind of attitude, but I don't think there's necessarily anything too wrong with it. I mean, there is some people that remember everything known to mankind, whether it was good or bad, you know. But Rogue One, to me, it's not in a sense that as far as somebody who's played a lot of Star Wars video games and kind of just gone through all kinds of Star Wars stories throughout time, it doesn't really feel like it's super original. For a movie, I can see where if that's all you watched, it might feel a lot more. But that's okay though, because it was giving me all the really good stuff I liked from playing video games throughout my entire life and putting it finally on the screen. That's what I thought made that movie super cool.
Well, it's also one of those things where this is probably the first, well, like you said, the first time we did that, but there's been like this story, not this version of it, but we got to get the Death Star plans. That's been told like 3 or 4 times in expanded universe stuff. And, that's fine. That's totally fine. I kind of get why they made this movie. And they made it like a Dirty Dozen kind of thing. I wasn't expecting to see Kyle from Dark Forces rolling at any point. I'd like to see them bring him in, but probably not.
Well, yeah, that'd be sweet if they brought him in, or if they
Dash
brought
Rendar.
Yeah, Dash Rendar. Like, I hope that they do. I mean, I know that
Kurt Russell is Dash Rendar. Holy fuck! I'm sorry,
well,
just
yeah,
popped up in my mind.
Except for Dash Rendar's not that old, but
you could make him older. Fuck it. This could be Dash Rendar in like the later films and like
but
the
he
dies
in the book. But
I thought he actually faked his death.
Oh, maybe he did. Maybe there's a second book where it's like, aha. But
maybe it is.
No, it's one of those ones. Like I know that that's always the big worry to the super hardcore Star Wars fans, because I really think I like Star Wars. I've watched Star Wars my entire life. I played the video games. I don't really consider myself a hardcore fan because I wasn't the guy that's like, oh yeah, I've read all like 100 of the backstory books and really keep up on it. It's like, no, I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong, but I haven't been that far. And I know all the people that are like super heavy into the books are the people that are kind of like, it's like they're just pissing on our fucking like stories that we've enjoyed for the last 30 years that these fucking great writers have, spent trudging these, story paths and everything like that. And I know it's that sort of thing where Disney's like, well, we just want to kind of do our own thing, which I mean, I understand that at the same time, but it's not, here's the thing. 90% of people didn't read the fucking books. So I don't feel like anybody's gonna be that spoiled if you do kind of just pull from more of that stuff and just use it. You know what I mean? And same thing. It's like a comic book. You know, I mean, I don't mind if they combined and piece things together because that's what they do for mostly any adaptation. But still.
I think what people get up in arms about, like the whole expanded universe thing, is because George Lucas actually said that expanded universe is actually canon, and to see like Disney like completely backpedal on the expanded like, I'm at that 90%. I haven't read any of the books, but like to have like the original creator say that they are canon, and now like the new creator of like the Star Wars movies say like, oh yeah, they're not. Let's forget everything George Lucas like did and established. I think I could see why people could be a little bit salty and like angry about that, but it's like, but I could also like see your side of it. It's like, oh yeah, if they want to just pick and choose, it's like it's totally fine because technically they still are using some of the stories and some of the characters, but they're just telling it in their own way.
Well, to play devil's advocate. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's kind of fine. I just hope that what they do is they finally get around to all these cool characters that the hardcore Star Wars fans and, you know, have grown up. And I'm saying hardcore just being anybody who pretty much either reads or plays a Star Wars video game outside of the movies. If they can just pull from some of that stuff, that I think would make so many fans' days instead of just literally creating tons of brand new stuff. Because why create so much brand new stuff? It's that kind of thing like you're going to make a Batman movie and what are you going to do? You're just going to make up a brand new villain. Like we've only had, you know, so many Batman movies and they've only featured so many villains so far. We have all these other guys we need to see and you're going to just start creating your own stuff.
Well, I was going to say real quick regarding the whole adaptation of that stuff. Even they say that, like, you know, George Lucas said, yeah, well, this is canon. The thing about that, though, is even a lot of the expanded universe stuff would kind of lay over each other. They would have one guy with his version of how this whole the Rogue One story of how they got the Death Star plans. You get another one of how like they had a Clone Wars comic book, which was basically like an anthology, which I was reading up until Revenge of the Sith. It was like an anthology story about different people during the Clone Wars. And it did not run parallel with the Clone Wars comic book. And then on top of that, then Revenge of the Sith came out. Like, well, I know how this ends. I can stop reading this comic now. And then you also had, God, what was it? You had like the expanded universe itself kind of cancels each other out every so often. And I think they're still making those books. They're still letting it continue. They're just like doing their own thing with the movies, which I totally get.
Yeah, I mean, like, I suppose it makes sense. I'm not really saying, like, they have to follow the books specifically. I don't think that's necessary. I just hope that they pull things from there and kind of keep some of, like, the big things that everybody sort of knows Star Wars. I hope they keep some of that stuff alive. Like, you know, if Luke Skywalker's ever going to get married, they should put Mara Jade in there. I mean, if you're going to do that, use something that's been established for so long. I mean, you don't have to tell the exact, like, word-for-word Mara Jade stories of the books, but use the character, you know what I mean? Don't just throw that. Don't throw the big stuff out, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I think that's what everyone should get their hopes up for, just because all the directors and writers that they're choosing to make, like the spin-off movies like Rogue One or even Episode 7 or Episode 8 and 9, is that they grew up like reading the books and they grew up watching the movies, and I see Lucasfilm actually like they saw that and they're like, oh, let's get like fans of like the of these movies and this material and just give them this give them a blank check and just tell them to go make like a movie about like the stealing the Death Star plans, or even like
I don't think George Lucas ever said give him a blank check.
Well, it's not George Lucas
exactly.
anymore, it's Disney.
Oh, but yeah.
No, well, here's also the real other nice thing with Rogue One is I think this is why made this movie like the superior movie to 7, is that 7, once again, that was the movie they had to play as safe as possible, because they're like, you know what, we don't want that same like mixed reaction that we got with Episode 1. Let's do 7 as safe as we can. We'll make it as easily accessible. Generally, most people like it. The only people that won't like it are people that really like the prequels, but whatever. And then with Rogue One, though, it's like, fuck it. This movie, like, it's not connected to anything. I mean, it's connected story-wise, but realistically, it's that kind of movie that's like, if this movie actually didn't do that good, that's okay. We could just kind of write it off. That doesn't make a difference, which I always think is really nice in movies is when they give it like, it's the ballsy movie, let them do whatever the fuck they want, go with it. That it reminds me of 007 when they got George Lazenby to do On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Why that's one of my top 5 favorite 007 movies is because that movie is so different than every other Bond movie because it's just like as ballsy as can be. It's like, whatever. It's 1969. We can be as fucking experimental as we want because here's the thing. We don't got Sean Connery. We don't know where this can go. Let's just try whatever we want. Let's just be as creative as we can be and make a really badass movie. And that's what you get in that one. And that's what I think is cool. I think, just maybe to some people, because it's not always the most well-received one, is some people don't like it because it is too radical. But that's, to me, is cool. And that's how Rogue One felt, is it had the radical edge to it that, you know what? If this doesn't work out, whatever, we can just take it to wherever we want. And I think, 8 and 9, I think by now they might actually start going, okay, now we can we can take the child gloves off right now and continue on. But if anything, those movies will kind of stay in their, regular path, where all the in-between movies, I think, will start to become just weird shit that, like, they're allowed to be more experimental with. They'll get more ballsier directors to kind of come in and give it a go. Because at the end of the day, hey, if it doesn't work out super well, that's not the worst case scenario. I mean, they don't want to, like, not work out. But you know what I mean, though? It's not going to be like, if number 8 turns out to be like, oh, what the fuck happened there? That would be kind of a big damp in, like, the main 9, series.
I think that one of the things that worked about this movie was they had the whole aspect, because every other Star Wars movie kind of had a little of the aspect of an outsider, the prequels was, okay, a farm boy gone into rookie Jedi, and then the originals were farm boy, like, gee willikers, this is amazing. Where this one was like, no, we're in the shit. We've been born in the shit. We've been living in the shit. And like you kind of seen the Rebel Alliance had to do some shady fucked up shit to keep things running. They weren't all plucky farm boys with like ideals. And like how the one guy's like, I got shot in the arm. What are we gonna do? Oh, he just killed those guys with you. Shut up. Quit being a pussy. Quit being a pussy. What are you gonna do? Bang. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
See, like that kind of stuff. And then like, I think Donnie Yen, the guy.
That guy's fucking amazing. Ip Man,
the blind dude, yeah. the blind dude with the staff, because the idea, okay, he's a Jedi without a lightsaber, and then on top of that, he trained
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he trained that whole part where like he even was like or didn't Bruce Lee train him?
No, he was the guy who trained Bruce Lee, because he comes actually from the Ip Man character. He played that guy in the movies.
That's right. That's what. Okay, I mean, I just assumed here. I assume.
Yeah, not the actor.
Hard to say that.
The guy's character he plays.
I just assumed, like, he looks a little too young to be trained Bruce Lee. Sure wasn't the other way around? Okay, but no, that makes sense, though, yeah. He actually, that part where, because they actually even show, like, A, he hears it, B, he feels everything through the Force, so it's kind of like he's letting all these stormtroopers just shoot each other. The part where he hooks the one guy with the staff, and he's using him as a body shield, just shooting up that one stormtrooper.
I always feel so bad. There's so many random stormtroopers I feel so bad for.
Like, as a joke, like, yeah, that guy, like, he's walking through and the stormtroopers are missing, but yeah, isn't that the whole joke that stormtroopers can't hit anything? So, Donnie Yen, you're
like, if he went up to one of like the black stormtroopers, they just unload and just kill him. Yeah. Like, what do these ones do differently? Well, they aim for starters.
Yeah, but I don't know. Donnie Yen's character was just amazing. Ben Mendelsohn was killing it as always, and then
was that Hannibal?
Yeah, no, Hannibal is Mads Mikkelsen. Oh. But Ben Mendelsohn is he was I forget.
He was the bad guy. Well, not the bad guy, but he was like the crooked businessman in Dark Knight Rises, and he's in this movie as the evil general dude.
Yeah. Ben Mendelsohn is just killing it in every single scene. That's just freaking. He needs to be in more Star Wars movies. That's my opinion.
The way this goes, it'll be hard to do that. But I love.
Well, you can always go back in time.
You always could.
Yeah.
You could always do maybe. I mean, I'm not saying they should, but they always. I'd probably see it regardless. I'd see another movie with Jane Aso as the main character because she was a badass. And like I liked the whole team. I liked everybody in that team.
I think just what I love like in general about this movie is that just the visual style of it, and just because episode 7, like I liked episode 7, but like the visual style was like it had
very shiny.
it was very
pretty.
it was shiny, but it was gritty in some moments, which gave me some hope for episode 8 and 9. But this was just grit like all the way through.
This was Dirty Dozen, definitely.
Yeah, like you see like just stormtroopers with like dirt on their face and just scratches, like, and just like the way the Rebel Alliance just like looked and just I don't know, they just
ragtaggy.
Yeah, I just loved how the Rebel Alliance, they were like, half of them were like, you know, Mon Mothra and like the Admiral Appark looking dude who's like, we gotta kill him now. We gotta set the trap. You know, that guy, those guys are all hard asses. The rest of them, a bunch of bitches. So we're like, why the fuck did we do this, man? Game over. We're all full. Like
you kind of forget that the Rebel Alliance a lot of times is made up of a bunch of like kings and queens, and now they're like, we got no fucking castle anymore, man. We got no fucking castle. I got no more slaves. No more slaves. What are we gonna do?
They're all Bill Paxtoning it. They're all Bill Paxton like, game over, man. You know, and then like Gene also is like, you know, there's that one line which I was a little worried about because like they showed a lot of like, you know, the more inspirational lines like save the dream, and then like the Banians are built on hope. You know, like they showed a lot of those lines in the trailer, and out of context they're eye rolling, but in the movie they plop them in the perfect moments. Like you do kind of need that right here.
Yeah, no, it all works. Like I really think there was, to me, I mean I only saw the movie once so far, but I didn't see anything to complain about. This to me felt like they were doing the perfect Star Wars movie. You know, they got it all dialed in. Like, at the end of the day, I really, like, in one viewing, I say it's a 4 out of 4. I can't think of much what's wrong with it. You know, as I said, all the characters were great. The action was fantastic. Just the story itself I liked. I loved how everything kind of connected in, but never felt like it was too shoehorned.
Another, like, aspect that I liked about it, too, is that, like, yeah, the foundation of it is that you're rooting for the Rebel Alliance to like get the Death Star plans and for everything to turn out all fine and dandy. But in a way, I like the way the movie spun it, that you could kind of see where the Empire is coming from a little bit. It's not like the Empire is like completely evil. Like there's still a little like glimmer that like, oh, I could kind of see that, and that's what makes the movie kind of political. In my like the whole like red versus blue.
Are you gonna go that way? Like, what are the secret plans? They're Hillary Clinton's emails.
Well, I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah, this is a pro-Trump movie.
But it's like I'm not gonna go that political. But it's just like I like that you humanize like the Empire a little bit. That. Like, yeah, the Empire is still, like, evil, but they're still, like, you see, like someone, like, fighting for the Empire, and you kind of feel, like, you kind of see, like, why they're on that side and stuff like that.
Matt Nicholson's character, he was evil, and he just had a murder boner the whole time, but he did have a fantastic line at the beginning, which is, it's a total bad guy line, but it is not mustache twirling. But he said, like, he's where I think Hannibal says, I don't remember the actor's real name, but Matt Nicholson says, I think you're confusing peace with fear. He's all like, oh, you got to start somewhere. Yeah, like, that's a pretty good bad guy line right there.
Well, the thing too is like, you know, in the old Star Wars, it was supposed to be more like almost like old-fashioned fantasy style, where it's like, this is good and this is evil. You know what I mean? Like, we don't question what each person's motive is. This is good, this is evil. And over time, I think it is kind of nice to kind of play with it a little bit more and go, okay, the Empire is not just like, you know, a flying like Satan coming around, you know what I mean? It's realistically just a bunch of Republicans in space at the end of the day. At the same time, it's kind of like, one thing I kind of wonder, especially when watching this movie, and then I thought about today, I was like, who the fuck pays for all the Empire stuff? Like, we never ever see what places they own that are paying all the tax money to get all this stuff fucking created. All we ever see is just them flying around and like they're Nazi blimps.
They're just like, man, they were fucking like, you just blow up that fucking planet? Fuck yeah, we blow up that planet. You realize how many taxpayers you just fucking massacred? How the fuck we gonna play for that thing now? He's like, motherfucker, you killed their fucking income.
That planet trading paid for half the Death Star. That was how we paid for it. Where do you think this money comes from?
Don't
Don't
worry, we'll tax Endor next. They'll pay us with fucking twigs.
But it's like I thought about
if in Donald Trump's world you just file for bankruptcy.
Oh.
So and then avoid all those things.
But it is one of those ones. I just kind of wonder. It's like who are these people that are paying for all this stuff to happen in space? Like, it's just some poor guy paying his tax dollars, just working some lonely man job, fucking out there renting space bikes, going, yeah, my tax dollars pay for putting up some. I got this thing in the mail the other day. It says,
my tax dollars
building a new Death Star.
Up with Endor.
Your tax dollars at work. It's like, I don't know if I really agree with the word death and star and like where my tax dollars are going to. That just doesn't sound like it's going anywhere that I want.
Well, they just I think it's time we had like a town meeting. Like, okay, cool. Everyone comes in, and all of a sudden they're all like surrounded by like an imperial officer and a bunch of stormtroopers. Go ahead. What's pissing you off? What's bothering you?
It's like the Empire and the Rebels are both clear representations of Democrats and Republican, but they never really had like the representation of like a libertarian, where he's just working just like a regular job. He's middle class. He's just like.
Well, no, that's the Confederates in the Confederates in episode 2 with
Trade Federation.
No, not the Trade Federation. Well, I guess they kind of are, but what's his name? Fucking Dracula. What's his name? I can't think of what it is. Count Dooku.
Oh, Count Dooku, yeah.
Fucking Dracula.
Yeah. Count Dracula.
He played Dracula in the 79 one. That was the only thing that was coming to my mind at the moment. Christopher Lee. Yeah. But
rest in peace, Christopher Lee.
You're gonna say something, Spencer?
I don't remember.
Well, the whole thing about this movie is, I just think that for a while, here's kind of the way I think each trilogy kind of breaks down. First one is the first one, fucking amazing. Second one, whether you love it or hate it, it's like it was trying something different. Not everyone liked that. Other people did like it. I'm kind of in the middle on that one. You get to the new trilogy, and it's kind of like, it seems we're only one movie in, but it's like it seems a little safe. And this is the one where I feel like it's like kind of doing that thing like, okay, it's the original stuff we like, but we're going to come at it from a different angle, and we're actually going to make it a little grittier. Like, this felt more like, and it's probably what they're intending to be, it felt more like an expanded universe story, because in the expanded universe, like video games and comics, you would have something way more. It was way, though. I would remember from reading the Clone Wars, shit got way grittier in that than it did in any of the movies. So, and I'm talking about the comics, not the TV show. I haven't really seen the TV show. And this had that same level of stuff going on in it. And I feel like this is almost kind of like, Star Wars FUBU, made for us, by us kind of thing. But at the same time, maybe poor comparison. But it's one of those things where it's like, it is like I think it kind of made all the right risks in all the right spots, but then pulled in all the right nostalgia moments.
You know what's the only bummer of the movie, actually? Is it the fact that we don't have a fucking video game to play with this movie coming out. Well, here's the thing. I know it's such a sad thing, because think about when episode 1 came out, and like the years following, and even the years preceding that, how many fucking video games we had. It was like, you watched episode 1. Let's just take episode 1 by itself. It was like, oh my god, oh dude, that fucking pod race scene, it was so badass. Well, guess what? You can experience for yourself. Oh, dude, you gave me a game. Oh, it's fucking awesome. But you know what? You know what I really love? I love that last battle with fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn battling Darth Maul. Oh, so badass. Here you go. Take fucking Jedi power battles. You got it. Oh, dude. Oh. But you know what would be really cool is if I could just kind of like battle a bunch of random-ass vehicles. Star Wars Demolition. We got you covered. No matter what aspect you love to Star Wars, they had you covered. And now it's kind of like, man, you know what would be really great right now is a new Rogue Squadron. Oh, yeah, I guess we don't get any of those anymore. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
Can I get a new Y-Wing game, a new TIE Fighter game? Anything will do. Can I just fly? Yeah. Nope. Well, don't got that for you.
That's why I didn't like Star Wars Battlefront that much, because even EA, like, I really don't like EA just because I don't feel like, well, I think that they might understand their audience. They just don't give a shit. Because I remember the last like E3 presentation, they had like, we're such diehard Star Wars fans. We're working on more Star Wars as games for you guys. Look, here's like a, here's like an 8-minute video of us working on the Star Wars games for you. And like, wow, it just shows some guy working on a Cintiq with a fucking R2-D2 on his desk. A Y-Wing flies by the fucking window. Just, here's what it's like in our Portland office. It shows a guy working on a computer on a 3D model. And then a fucking Millennium Falcon or Star Destroyer goes by the window there. It's just like, we love the Star Warses. And it's like,
he's like, does he keep saying Star Wars? Does he even know how to pronounce it?
Does he know what the fuck it is? And then it's like,
no, that's when everyone has like a weird like head take when he says we love the Star Treks.
Well, it's like I hate that. This ad. It's so dumb because it's so has no real effect on me, but it pissed me off so much. Like, okay, you have this fucking 5 to 8 minute video, however long it fucking is, and you maybe showed like 20 seconds of actual gameplay footage for EA. I don't give a fuck what Bill in the office is doing. Show me the fucking game. Oh, yeah, you show me a little bit of the fucking iPhone game. Who gives a flying fuck?
Yeah.
Fuck EA. Fuck them.
I actually totally forgot about Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Well, see, because the thing about Battlefront,
we haven't really had like a decent like Star Wars video game since really like. Well,
no, Force Unleashed.
Yeah, Force Unleashed was all right. It was like a nice little tech demo, and it was fun to fling the stormtrooper
I liked it more than a tech demo. I thought those games were both real fun. Now, the second one, I could understand if somebody was a little bit pissy if they paid $60 for the game
because it was like
3.5 hours long. Really but those 3.5 hours were totally badass. That's all I have to say.
It was totally badass. But when like I just put the disc in the system and played it, and 30 minutes went by, and here comes the credits roll. I hate
when you have to bring down. Well, the game does the thing where it tries to make you, because that is a fun game. I did have the first one, but the game does that shit. I hate when games do that. Like, look how much fucking power you have. Like, well, what can I do? You could bring down that fucking Star Destroyer with the fucking Force, bitch. And like, only when the game lets you. And what do? Oh, you just got to kind of rotate the joysticks properly. Oh, shit. TIE Fighter's coming. Fight them off real quick. Okay, go back to it before it gets back in position and flies away. Like, that kind of shit. Like, just going back and forth. Like, that wasn't fun. That was fucking stupid. I like that game.
I thought that was pretty cool. I like that. I
like that game for the most part. I like that game for the most part, but it's like that kind of shit where it's like they try to make you feel empowered, but they try and just give it to you like in just smidges. Well, because the game's allowing you to. Well, like, why can't I know it's like the game has to have limits, but it's just kind of like, if I could do that right now, why can't I do that at any other point to any of these other Star Destroyers?
Well, it's like I'm just sitting here thinking of like all the other Star Wars games that have come out, just to, like completely like going against my last statement. But like, it just seems like Star Wars games now it's just Star Wars just like imprinted into like an already existing game. Like Battlefront 3, that's Battlefield.
Yeah.
That's plus you got Angry Birds Star Wars, which is just Angry Birds with Star Wars pigs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We haven't really gotten like an actual like legitimate Star Wars game. Like, I would personally love to play it as like the Rebel Alliance, like a character like from Rogue One, where it's kind of like an Uncharted game, which is what Star Wars 13 was. But that one vanished into existence when Disney bought LucasArts and then faded into, and then LucasArts
sold everything off to EA.
Yeah. But
I know it's such a bummer too, because it's like, if anything, it's like Disney. You had that capital to keep. They should have just let LucasArts, the game company, continue on, because in my personal opinion, they made great stuff forever. I think what happened is once Episode 3 was done, it was kind of like, oh fuck, well, we don't really have any big reason why to release Star Wars. So I think that's why the game started petering out there, is because it felt like it wasn't in the average Joe's mind. Now, Star Wars Force Unleashed felt like it was made just for the hardcore Star Wars fans. It wasn't made just for, anybody. Like Rogue Squadron was that kind of game that even somebody who didn't really even care that much for Star Wars could see like, oh, dude, this is totally badass.
That was a fun game, yeah. But
that's one that Like the best Star Wars games ever made.
Just to go back to this for a second, just to clarify, just so I don't sound like, like a guy being mad at the game for like not doing exactly what I want. Just to clarify the earlier thing, the whole thing about bringing down the Star Destroyer. I'm not mad that like you couldn't bring down whichever one you wanted like out of nowhere because that'd be ridiculous. I'm mad for presenting it in the first place when it's just
completely break the game.
You know what I mean? It just for presenting it in the first place when it just doesn't. When it's not even that fun because it's just like I can do it because the game's allowing me to do it right now. That's more of what that complaint was, just to clarify. But the whole thing of like the different games. Apparently, they got a new Knights of the Old Republic coming out, which is supposed to be good. We'll see what happens.
Is it MMO? Isn't it?
Is it?
Got the Old Republic.
Is it an MMO?
But as far as I know, I think what?
I thought that one already came out.
I'm behind times on Star Wars shit as far as the games go, at least. Wow.
I just know the Old Republic is like an MMO, and I think the servers actually are closing down by the end of this year.
Yeah, that didn't take long.
I mean, it would be kind of nice if they would make something, like a new Knights of the Old Republic, or if they would make another Rogue Squadron. You really don't have to go out and make the most brand new Star Wars game, but don't do the thing like, in a sense, because I think what made Battlefront kind of like a lie was they were using the title Battlefront, but it wasn't Battlefront. I think that was, at the end of the day, you were just lying to your audience, saying, hey, we're going to give you a new Battlefront game, but it's not Battlefront. Because what Battlefront was you had... you landed on the ground, you were just a regular soldier, but you had missions to still do. You could play co-op with your buddies. It wasn't, it had online in there. Yeah, it was one of the second one was one of the first games to have it. But in a sense, that wasn't really the main goal of the game. The goal of the game was more like a co-op, do these different missions in there, play as different characters, and, make sure your armies don't die. And that game was so much fun.
Meanwhile, Star Wars Battlefront 3 is an always online experience where it's just a massive. It's basically an MMO where you just battle
at the end
people
of the day,
online.
that's pretty much
I'm
what
that's
it is.
boring.
There's something fun about the. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the downfall of the new one is it's just kind of one of those. I always call them kind of like, it feels like an arcade game. Like you almost you put a quarter in, you play a couple rounds of just random chaos shooting, and then you go get your pizza afterwards. It's not like a real video game. I don't mean that in a bad way, saying anything against arcade games, but it's not one of those ones, like, it does not feel like it was meant to be like, oh, you're going to sit down and you and your buddy are going to fucking crank some Mountain Dew and go till 2 a.m.
Well, it's one of those things where that one, like, I'll say this, like, Battlefront 1 and 2, I don't even think the first one had a story mode. I think it was more just like, pick your side, pick what era, pick your side, go to the different, planets. And the thing is, it at least had a lot of variety. That game had so much variety to it. And even if it did was a very
they have story modes in them. I'm not going to say like the story modes aren't like super like hardcore like, but they would have like the thing where like the text would pop up and be like, it would show pictures. I don't even know if it had, maybe it had videos in it, but there was a light story.
The second one, I know the second one did. I'm not sure if the first one did. The first one might have. I know the second one definitely did though. Regardless, that didn't bother me. Now we're at the point though where it's like, okay, it's only the original trilogy, and on top of that, it doesn't even like, it's like, what is it? It's 3 different. It's like, what is it like? I know it's probably DLC, but when it first came out, well, you got like 4 or 5 planets, and you got rotating stages that come up randomly. Just like, maybe just me. What happened to the day where you could just pick what the fuck you wanted? We didn't have to wait for how many people logged on. I don't know. Maybe just
isn't it funny? Games have gone on farther, and we have less choices than we did 15 years ago.
Exactly.
That to me always bothers me. It's like, why do we have less choices than we had in the past? Like, there was a period where
less control.
We had so much more control. Well, I think about, like, remember back in the day when you'd play like an online game on PC and you could literally make your own room and be like, oh, okay, we're playing Command and Conquer. So me, Marley, and Dunigan are going to get together. Okay, I'm making my room. I'm choosing, okay, I want that map. I want us to start off with $4,000. I want, you could like literally dial it in exactly how you wanted it. That was so much fun. And there's so few games that seem to have that anymore. Nowadays, it's always like, jump on in, put your quarter in. Wait, I need a quarter. Put your quarter in, damn it. Grab your Mountain Dew. Okay. We're gonna fire.
What?
What a quarter! It's a console.
Or it's like
or put the quarter in, and then next thing you know, it's just like everything's just random. It just seems like in a sense, I feel like this is what games are. Games are made for alcoholics and stoners. They just want to go like, hey, okay, oh, it's going, okay, cool. Like, it's not made for the guy who wants to sit down and literally think this shit out and dial the game in to how he wants to play it. You know,
Believe me, like when I played like the recent Call of Duty, like for like maybe like 2 matches, I felt like so old.
Well,
yeah, not
your fucking voice. I got neighbors.
Not for like that. Not for the fact that like I completely suck at the game and I'm like dying every 2 seconds, but just the fact that just like I don't know, hearing people like on mic too, just like all these 10-year-olds like, oh you fucking suck dick.
Yeah, like there's that whole aspect you got to deal with now of just fucking kids.
Yeah, it's just
that's why when I play online, I don't even use a microphone. I don't use it. It's just not worth it. I don't really play many games. It's like Gears of War was like the only. It's like ooh, Gears of War, but then again, you play it for a couple rounds and it's like, well, this is fun. But it's not the same without a buddy, so
it's
whatever.
Also one of those things like it's like a lot of games like you can't even pick your side or who you're going to be exactly. So
it's always random. It's just like you don't pick the level, you don't pick the side. You're lucky if you can pick your character and your gun, but that's it. And it's like I just miss the days. It's just funny. It's like I think 1998 we had so much more control and so many more options. In 2016, everything's set on random, and we just got to kind of accept what the hand of fate chooses for us. And the same with Star Wars games. We have to accept the fate that it chooses for us.
Yeah. But going back to Rogue One and like why I love this movie so much and why I'm excited for like all the spin-off movies as compared to maybe 7, 8, and 9 is that I love that Gareth Edwards put his own like spin on it too, and just like not necessarily ignored like the the original trilogy and prequels like completely, but he just he brought like his own take on it, like made it a gritty like war movie, and why I'm excited for I think a Han Solo movie is actually being directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
It is, yeah. The guys who did the Lego movie and 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah. And then there's a Yoda movie, I think.
Yoda movie doesn't need to happen. Yoda, unless it's a team movie, I don't think Yoda needs to happen.
But I'm excited for all the spin-offs.
Yoda now. You don't want to see like Yoda when it's like, what if the Yoda movie was like, it's actually a teen comedy of when Yoda was in school.
I would be totally down for that.
Encino Man with Yoda.
Yeah, like
we found an ancient alien instead of carbonite.
Or just you're so used to seeing Yoda as like this old man.
But like, what was he like? He was like a partying, cake drinking, like Smurf.
I guess to me it's Yoda's one of those characters. I'd rather keep him a mystery.
Before he turned into a raisin.
You don't want to see Yoda doing keg stands of like whipping out his lightsaber. When he says lightsaber, it's not an actual sword.
The thing is, I know it's not gonna be that. That's why it's not gonna be the Yoda college comedy. It's gonna be something else, and it may be good. If they do make it, I'll probably see it. It's just one of those things I don't really need to know Yoda's origin because he's the mysterious mentor figure. That's all he needs to be to me.
Yeah, I kind of agree there. I mean, I think if they're going to have a Yoda movie, you could do something where it's just like, okay, when's this one? Well, it takes place before 1, but Yoda's still old. You know what I mean?
Or it's one of those things like it took place on Dagobah, and it could take place on Dagobah.
It's just like some kind of like, all it is, it's just only Yoda, and it's just him on fucking Dagobah for 2 hours. Nothing fucking happens, but we just see like a couple days in the life of what it is like to be on Dagobah for all those years.
It's like Buried. It's like the movie Buried with
Buried of Ryan Reynolds.
Buried I am! The Force is too...
And it's just Yoda just pedals around this planet and he talks to himself all day long and it's just like nothing really happens, but it's funny.
It's 127 hours, like directed by Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle directing the Yoda movie.
Well, no problem. He just like saw his arm off with one swipe of his lightsaber. Done.
Yeah. See, but no. That sounds like too more of an intense movie. I'm talking about a movie where it's just literally just about life on the planet. Like No fucking harshes. It's just here's what Yoda does. Like, he wakes up and like there's not even like a line of dialogue for like 20 minutes. It's just him like making breakfast or something like that.
It could be just like Moon too.
I never saw Moon, but I know what happened.
Yeah.
But
the guy's like alone by himself on like a space station on the moon. So like something. I don't know.
It's not like one of those movies where it just opens up and it's just like Yoda's in the corner like jerking off. Like nobody can fucking see him.
All he has is the same picture of like some other like frog lady for like the last like.
No, it's just a picture of Princess Leia where he's just like, oh, one day.
So he's jerking off the child porn then?
Yeah.
It's going in the time.
It's like baby porn pretty much because that's why Yoda got that picture.
I'm your daughter. They stay the same age they do.
It actually just turns into just a picture of Luke.
Oh my god.
No, but like the whole thing with like I think that like when I said a Yoda movie, maybe it's something kind of like a Kenobi thing. Like he's retired, but then something like somebody comes to him like, "Yo, we need your help." So he's like, "Oh, I'm on it." So he like leaves the planet. He pulls his lightsaber out one last time. It's kind of like Unforgiven, but with Yoda, for him to kind of come back. He's like, he's just like, if he was good, like, I don't know, maybe Mace Windu's alive and he's like dead, like in front of a saloon. He's just like, you just killed an unarmed man. He's like, when he used my best friend as a decoration, he should have known to arm himself. He did, something like that.
Do we even know like what the Yoda movie is like?
I have no idea what it is. I think it's just be like an adventure movie that, oh, Yoda, can we get your help for this? Maybe he's the central character, kind of like One Last Ride kind of thing. If you were to do a Yoda movie, I don't need a
boring.
We don't need what? That's not boring. That's way fucking better than.
That's what everything like that Disney creates now. Like with the
One
Marvel
Last
movies.
Ride.
It's like
One Last Ride. We need your help. One Last Ride. How many
Mostly
fucking?
It's always one first ride.
Done that. What?
Mostly it's always one first ride, like Lone Ranger or something like that. I think you should just. I like the idea of like the Woody Allen fucking like Yoda movie that's a story about nothing.
I'm fine for that too. It's not going to happen, but I'm fine with that.
That's like way too ballsy for them to do.
Movie.
Mine's more the middle ground, which that could happen. The Last Ride thing could happen before he goes into retirement for good. Maybe
or just before he dies.
Or it's like, well,
they just kill off Yoda.
What if Yoda's like
retcon that shit?
He's like, I got to go to a pub crawl to re-experience my college life, 5,000 years ago before we go.
Why not? I'd be down for that. Yeah, sure, do that.
The Yoda pub crawl movie. And then as time goes on, maybe like the last of like...
Listen to this podcast because we're giving them gold for so many ideas.
The last of the Gungans show up and then he has to like fight them off.
He has to kill the Gungans, like much unfinished business there is. Goes after the Gungans, or oh fuck, here's a way to bring it in.
Maybe Yoda gets one of his drinks roofied, and he thinks that he's fighting off all these like stormtroopers and all kinds of stuff, and instead he just actually ends up murdering all these poor Gungans.
Well, there's that theory that like apparently, I mean, they kind of hinted at it. No one ever flat out said it, but there's that theory that they were leading into Jar Jar being a Sith, where if you kind of look at certain things they point out, like, oh, actually that does kind of make sense, where he was like a Sith and he was just playing the idiot in the first movie and they're going to come around in the second one. What if they actually did just come out and say, this is the one we come out. We've already done 5 movies so far. Everyone fucking loves it. It's time to bring out the jar.
Yeah, just called Jar, not called anything else.
Jarred. What is jarred?
Yeah.
They just go Fast and Furious with it and just call the movie Jarred.
Fate of the Jarred?
Yeah.
Fate of the Jar.
Which, by the way, Fate of the Furious, coming this spring, 2017. It's Best Picture, 2017.
I'm just going to say, they really... I think that the next member of the other team should be Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus, just so they could add a little bit of like realism to the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. This new one just feels like they're really trying to make the story all twisted around. I mean, I'll go see it regardless because I just love Fast and Furious that much. But it is one of those ones I'm like,
how could you not love Fast and the Furious?
Why is Dom a bad guy? Like, what?
It's going to be some shit like, you know, they kidnapped my sister and they kidnapped Paul Walker, who's still alive.
Just brainwashed him.
Yeah, like it's gonna be something like that.
What if they just had Paul Walker's like it was just like Weekend at Bernie's, but instead they just had Paul Walker's like corpse in the car. Just like in such poor taste.
The Rock is just like holding up Paul Walker and he's just trying to drive the car.
Yeah, he's still there. It's like he's not going in. And it would be funny if this Dom was doing it, and it's like, Dom, he's not alive anymore. He's like, he is. He's still alive in my heart. Damn it. Come on, Paul. And he starts talking to Paul and like moving his like mouth and everything. There's like flies on him and everything.
That's my idea.
Or it's just instead of just moving, like having his body there, it's just they rip off Paul Walker's face and put it on the Rock's face. It's like he's still there. He just got really ripped.
They just like what's this guy? I already forgot his fucking name. I said it earlier.
The Rock, Paul Walker, Vin Diesel.
No. The fucking the Grand Moff Tarkin, that shit. They just like CG his face on there. I mean.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that wouldn't be like.
I think it'd be funny if they just sewed it on there.
Oh, we're going like Greg Capullo Joker shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still here. He just got really ripped.
That's my idea. It's sort of not that exactly, but the idea of like, I'm not sure if I said this on the podcast. I'm not sure. I know I said this to you, Spencer. I'm not sure if I said it to you, Marley. I've never been a fan of that show, Friends. But my idea, it seemed like kind of a lost opportunity, is the end of every season, one of them would off themselves. But then the body would hang around and would continually decompose. So by the time you get to the last season, you get Lisa Kudrow in a room with several other corpses talking to herself back and forth.
With a laugh track.
There's like newspapers over the windows, poorly lit, all this rotten food everywhere. She's gone a little crazy, you know? And then
the laugh track and the audience is still there though.
Yeah, when she's not there though, you just have like these like still shots of one of the corpse of Joey just laying there. Audience laugh track. Pause. Jennifer Aniston like corpse. Laugh track.
All it is camera cut.
Yeah, like, and then 15 minutes of that before the one like living member still comes in. Like, if I would like to see that, just like think of, I mean, granted it'd be like probably 5 seasons shorter, but it's one of those things where it's like, dude, which one do you think's gonna off himself? Like, just keep it the same way. Like, dude, I was not expecting Chandler to blow his brains out at the end of season 1.
Well, I think that would make everyone's like lives like a lot better if Friends was 5 seasons shorter.
I just think, I don't know, it just seemed like a missed opportunity to me. That's all.
I just like the concept of it. It's just the darkness of it.
What was that, Spencer?
I just say the darkness of it is what intrigues me. That's like my type of story right there.
But it still has what beats the coffee shop and like, you seriously let this lady drag all these dead bodies in here in a wheelbarrow? Oh, she always pays. She always tips. You know, they have that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. She pays for all of the eight of the dead bodies, or however many fucking people are in France. I can't remember. He's like, she pays the whole tab, so I don't complain. Only one person orders technically.
Just imagine. I feel like Lisa Kudrow. I feel like she'd be the last one running it because she's actually a pretty good actress and other stuff. So I think it all hinge on her. But regardless, you know.
Yeah,
that's my, you know, what I wish happened but never did. Okay, I'm over.
But yeah, well, that's probably a pretty darn good place to wrap all that up with. I feel like you're not going to be able to top that story right there.
We just end on like the most darkest moment of Ryan's life, where he's like, "Oh, I really wish I would have like ended Friends with like offing everyone."
Yeah, okay. I think that's about as ideal as you can get because that's the perfect place to have it. That's like the fluff piece of the show. Well, that's also
show on.
Sadly enough, things getting staticky and that good old Skype and the internet and the AT&T.
It's gonna go out on my end like in 5 minutes. I know it.
Yeah, so I'm just assuming might as well cut it short before it cuts us off, just whenever it feels like it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a good place. Star Wars fucking amazing if you have yet to see it, and if you're gonna be like that guy who's gonna complain like spoilers, dude, like a week later, then it's your fucking fault. But at the end of the day, it's something you got to go see because
America great again.
Really bad. Yeah, make America great again. See Star Wars.
By seeing Star Wars.
Trump likes this book.
Stop with the Trump shit.
Till then, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, and more. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
I'm Marley Silverbrand.
And we'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. Won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to Old Man Orange.